In the beginning was the one presence of the undivided and unmanifest pure spirit of life, light, and love. In its generosity, it shared itself, its consciousness, and its love in the visible form of creation. We acknowledge this presence within us and as us. The creative energy of the divine feminine and masculine, expressing in all our giftedness and creativity. We acknowledge this in our companion, Mother Earth, and in all sentient beings. This universal presence in everything we call the Christ. This universal presence. And we light this candle as a visible reminder of the Christ presence expressing in, as, and through us in this present now moment.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Frank, for those of you who don't know me. And if you don't know me and you're new, welcome. It's nice to have you here. Our music today, Deborah and Marcia, thank you for that beautiful opening hymn. We have JP Falcon will join us for supporting in this service, which we call a contemplative service. A form, if you're new here, we try to do this about once a month and involves a certain kind of prayer and ritual. So I'm glad you're here with us today. I'm going to do the announcements now, because once we get through this part, we're just going to cruise in for the rest of the service in a little more silence and a contemplative posture. Before the service, and probably leading into September, we have a Daniel Nahmod concert. So what we're doing is we're going to be playing some Daniel Nahmod music. So if you come early and you see the screen down, introducing you to Daniel Nahmod. Tickets still on sale. We sold about half what we have, and next week we're going to open them to the larger community. We haven't told anybody. We want to let Unity people get a chance. So if you're interested, you can go online or talk to Janae for the concert September 17th for Daniel Nahmod. Also, next Friday, we're going to have a guest artist here going to do some kirtan music. If you don't know, ask Jonathan. He can explain kirtan to you, or ask me. Lots of us have been to lots of kirtan. It's an Indian art form of call and response chanting, usually with percussion instruments and harmonium and some other interesting instruments from India. So not to be missed. It's really going to be good. You can see it online, or there's a flyer on our community bulletin board. Just a reminder that right after the service, for those interested for the conference, we have many committees, as you know. People have been working inside, outside. Greg's been on all the committees, doing everything else. And there's another committee we have. It's called the High Watch Committee. And essentially, it's a committee that's just holding a prayer consciousness for leading forward into the regional conference and for all the events going on for this fall. Reverend Sandra Solikeep will stay right after service when you get a moment, and maybe 5-10 minutes after, when it feels right, meet up here. If you said, well, I don't want to be on the inside, I don't like to paint, and I don't want to go outside, I don't want to build trails, but I can pray, this is the committee for you. So you can join the High Watch Committee, meet with Reverend Sandra right after service. Yes?
I would say anybody who's on any other committees.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't.
Tuned in, that everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, just because you're painting, you can come pray as well. Yeah, thank you, Sandra.
Welcome, everyone. Frank already did that. My name is Marie Bailey, and I'm your podium assistant today. So as we prepare for meditation, in our reflective moments, take this meditation music into your heart. And now, as we move into our time of reflection and meditation, if there is anyone or anything who could use prayer support, please bring them into your consciousness now. And feel free to speak their name out loud. Now allow the vibration of this poem by Major Jackson, titled Lovesick, to melt into every level of your being. First, you will need to cross some dark threshold. I suggest lying on your back in a pasture of cut ryegrass or in a city park. I suggest planting an arm behind your head. You have inherited acres of a night sky, and she is your aurora borealis. And though you cannot see the world's wild shadows, here she will be, nacreous, grace wavering in bands of blue, green light, ribbons of gold neon swimming beneath skin. You will want to write a long letter to your dead. You will encounter her mind as a kind of iridescent song, heroic and dense. You will feel fetched as though from some polluted river. Her glances will pass over you like folklore. Do not be afraid. This is wonder, mirroring itself and breaking across your face. Endless. Treetops in silhouette, knowing looks of your elders. And now, as we move into our time of meditation, I invite you to close your eyes or keep your gaze soft. Release your attention and allow it to float freely throughout your experience. Notice how it may gravitate toward a thought, move to a sensation, or rest on the breath. Make no effort to interfere with or control your attention. Simply watch as it spontaneously and effortlessly moves among the various experiences present in each moment. Now bring your attention to the breath. Become aware of your natural breath pattern without trying to control or change it. Just watch and observe the movement. You may find the breath to be fast or slow, deep or shallow. Whatever is happening, relax and witness the breath. Now feel the breath becoming very quiet, very still, almost non-existent, becoming more relaxed and peaceful with each breath. Feel a deep sense of peace. Allow it to pervade all aspects of your being. And now bring your body into awareness. Recognize your body has been a trusted vehicle, creating many contributions and accomplishments. Now, for these few moments, simply allow the body and the mind to rest. Surrender the entire weight of the body to gravity. Feel the whole body weighted, sinking down into the chair. With each breath in, Sense a cushion of vital energy surrounding and permeating the body until the entire body is felt as a pulsing, tingling energy field. Now begin to feel the body as more energy than density. Whole body breathing in, whole body breathing out. Notice the emptiness of the body, the silence of the mind. The mind held in absolute stillness and inner tranquility. Enter an even more subtle dimension now. Remain the neutral observer, receiving what is exactly as it is, unconditioned by the past. Feel yourself freed from limiting tendencies and the unconscious forces of the past. Sense the light of the source illuminating the entire being. Dissolve into it. Feel all the energies of your body from all meridians activated, purified, and balanced. All channels are open now, and the life force is flowing freely, healing the body, calming the mind. And now gently coming back into the room. Feel your body resting in the chair. And when you're ready, softly open the eyes and let the room lovingly come to you. And feel the mind held in a quiet, meditative state.
So I invite you into a time to reflect on where your help comes from, where the source of your community, a greater community, might be, and what you might belong to in ways that perhaps we haven't thought of quite as profoundly as before. So I want to invite you into a consideration to who belongs to, I'm going to use the word, your council of spiritual friends, your personal council of spiritual friends. And I can't imagine that any of us don't have such a thing. Of course, on these talks, I've always had the advantage because I've been pondering this all week. The basic question, do I have a council of spiritual friends? Answer, oh God, yes. And I think you do too. And I've been mentioning this to many of you through the week. And I've been really kind of amazed at what you shared with me so far. And I'd love to hear more feedback. I noticed that across the world in many cultures, people look into a certain kind of council, what they call their council of their ancestors. And in many cultures, a big part of their spirituality is really almost consulting with, lighting incense, being very aware of the importance of their ancestors in their life. And I know for me personally, I've been having an interesting relationship with my ancestors. And I can't tell you, I know names, no faces, but I know they're there. And in many ways, you know, if you want to just talk about psychologically, we know that what's gone on with the family before us has for generations, has an impact in our life and who we are and how we act and how we show up. I mean, we know that. Here's the other piece we know. How we show up, how we choose to live our lives, the decisions we make, is impacting our ancestors. And I mean that in a way, direct children, but also all the people we've had influence on for 7 generations in the future. Into the future, what we choose all the time. Our council of ancestors kind of goes both ways to me. If you think of your spiritual help, your spiritual friends as your ancestors, we both can get the lessons and the blessings of our ancestors, and we can choose to heal what's come down through us so that we can be the generation, we can be the ones that heal going forward, for those who come after us. There's another way of looking at your council of spiritual friends. That's one. Someone else I was sharing this with said to me, yeah, you mean like the angels that visit me? Sure. And people have this experience of not being alone, that there's actually a palpable, real support system of beings, maybe undefined or maybe have names, where people really feel like, I'm getting supported. I think of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. It says, and he was ministered to by the angels. Maybe that's an expression, but I tend to think, I think there's more there than just like a saying. So there's that kind of support that we have from spiritual friends. I often think of myself, the people who have had a major influence in my life. Some people who I was thinking on my council, and by the way, if you look up, I've sort of set up you kind of make sense, a little council chamber here. As I speak, what I want you to start imagining is, for you, who's sitting in these chairs? Or it may not be who's sitting in these chairs, but what is available to you? Because the council of spiritual friends includes all beings. All beings. There's a podcaster named Rob Bell. I just love every week, Rob. I feel like he's a best friend. I know that he's had a profound change in my life. And he's in my council of spiritual friends. Maybe I'll go down and meet him one day. He's in Ojai. There may be people in this room who you consider on your council of spiritual friends. Important people whose message and whose talk and whose relationship and whose friendship has really made a change in your life. Saints. Many people would put Mary, Jesus, Buddha, Kuan Yin, Lei Tzu. Sometimes I feel like not only Lei Tzu, I want to somehow put the Tao on the chair. I want to put scripture on the chair. You know, that's a spiritual friend. A he, a she, a they, an it, and all of it. There's another way, and I was influenced this by a teacher named Joanna Macy, an important teacher for me. Many of you may know Joanna Macy, and she's been someone profound for me. She just made her transition a couple weeks ago, so we'll miss her. But the work she left with us, and she called forth the council of spiritual beings. And she would call it forth, and she says, we're going to gather in California. We're going to have a council of spiritual beings. And everybody would show up, and you would show up as a being. Who are you? I'm otter. I'm turtle. I'm heron. And we'd all come as a council of spiritual beings, and then we would talk to each other. But you wouldn't talk from Frank. I would be able to talk to the other spiritual beings as I'm turtle, and here's what turtle has to say. And we would hear each other, people, animals. I wonder sometimes, I'll go ahead and tell you some of the one. Well, here, you can imagine this too. You could call forward some important, this is JP's. I'm not sure if it's a seagull. We think it's seagull, right? Beautiful piece. You could call forward a spirit animal. You could imagine it in an actual form, a biological form, or symbolic form. Larry gifted us with this the other day, a beautiful salmon. And Diane, in her presentation a few weeks ago, talked about the subtle energy of salmon, the gift. You know, when the salmon just breaks the surface with its eyes, it's time. Watch for it. That subtle energy. So the council of your spiritual friends could be a council of all beings. And I'm curious for you, who's sitting at the chair? Or who's perched? Or who's swimming through your field? This morning I was out on a walk. I'm imagining my council of beings. Who's sitting at the chair and never leaves is Francis of Assisi for me. I think the very first time I came here and did a talk, it was on Francis of Assisi. Do you know when the church invited me to come and be the minister? The feast day of St. Francis is October 4th. What was my first day at Unity of Bellingham? Purposely. I came here on the feast of St. Francis. Why? He's profoundly important. He sits right there in my council of spiritual friends. So profound an influence that person's always been for me. His writings, yes, his energy, yes, but it's like he's alive for me. You all have these people, right? You starting to get a sense where we're going? Who's on this council? This morning I walked off, and I always go for a walk early in the morning on Sundays, and let Sunday service sort of run through my mind. It was about 7:15 in the morning, and I saw Jay Scott go by. He comes here early. That man, thank you, Jay Scott, very dedicated. I'm like, it's 7:15. He's coming to set things up and be ready. And I looked up, and over Lake Whatcom, there's a mountain. I don't even know what that mountain is. It's pretty close. It's not the Chuckanuts. Anyone know what that is right there on Lake Whatcom? And Blue Mountain? Blue Mountain, okay. I don't even know its name. And I stopped, and I went, has that mountain always been there? It was just like, I see it, and all of a sudden it was like, because I was walking with my sensibilities open to who's in my council, who's here to teach me, who's here to talk to me today. Mountain was. And then I stopped and go, what did Mountain have to say to me today? I think there's some people that sit in my spiritual council, and they're always there, But I think some of these chairs are like, my turn. Someone else is jumping in. My turn. People come and people go. There's like fixed chairs and there's other chairs. I also love that we made this circle, but you see how the circle includes all of you, and even more, the circle includes all of it. It's all available to be our counsel. On your counsel could be redwood, could be cedar, could be a certain flower, could be a star, the poem. You lay on your back, put your heads behind, look up into the sky, and what do you see? The stars, the borealis, the ancestors, the energies. What is it for you? Because when we recognize that counsel, then big part is we can go to our counsel for help. By the way, it's always speaking. It's always there. So the object is to tune in and hear it. I was walking the other day. We were driving up in the Cascades, Joy and I, and there was a sign. It said elk, and there was a light flashing. Slow down, elk. And then about a mile later, slow down, elk. I'm like, okay, they really mean it, Slow down, elk. The elk sign, right? I said, well, you don't have to tell me that many times. I think I'll slow down, which the 10 people behind me didn't like. But I'm like, it says there's something here. And I came around the corner. Was it an elk? No. A big old bear came running across the road. Bears can move. And I was like, wow. And I braked, and this bear just disappeared into the woods. Slow down, elk or bear. What I'm doing is I'm flashing a light. Here, we're flashing a light for each other. Slow down. Who is it for you? Get ready. And when we get sensitive and we look, what's going to come running across the road? I'm going to take these down because I want this to be what you imagine, not what I have up here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to invite you into this few minutes of quiet and just take in the front, the council room, if you will. Take in the chairs, the places you can perch, what's available to you. And here's your question. We're going to sit with this for a few minutes. Just take it in. Who's in my council? Who maybe is permanently in my council? And the other question is, who's been showing up? Or what's been showing up for you lately? Like if you were to tell someone, you wouldn't believe what keeps happening. You wouldn't believe who keeps showing up. You wouldn't believe the energy that I keep finding or the name that keeps coming to me. Who is that? What is that? What energy is it? Let's take this into some music with a song called Spiritus. And we'll just sit with this just for a moment. Now, I have an invitation for all of you. You get to come forward and ask something of somebody on your council. I put a lot of beads here. You could ask two things. I'll give you an example, and then I'm going to sit down, and as you will, feel free to come forward, or I can bring some stones to you and put them in for you as well. And this can be, the idea is we'll do it in silence, but I'll do mine out loud so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on for me. What I have on the two perches, on one is crow, and on the other one's blue heron. Now, those of you who know me know crow's a really good one for me. Chat, 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 cock, cock, cock. Why are you laughing, Malin? Yeah, she, she knows, right? Curious, social, jump in on the conversation, sometimes a little too loud, sometimes a little too in the stuff, but fun and curious and creative and doing things. Jonathan's going, yeah, that's you. Yeah. I know Crow is there for me in my council. Crow supports me all the time. But also sitting over here is Blue Heron. And I walked across the bridge the other day, and I just kept seeing blue herons showing up. And there's a piece of me that just looks at the blue heron and go, I aspire to this knowledge, to this wisdom, to this archetype, to this energy. Still, quiet, thoughtful, trusting in the abundance. I can stand here all day and I'm hungry. Bam, fish. Always available, living into the abundance of the world. And when I'm ready, blue heron spreads its wings. It's huge, it flies, it's so gorgeous, it just takes off. I affirm blue heron here in my council, giving me the energy to that patience, that stillness, that sense of abundance. Thank you, Crow. And I affirm blue heron energy in my life and for my good. Now, you would do something like that in silence, but you can come forward and just drop a pebble for your prayer, your affirmation, your ask. And then for me, St. Francis is sitting here. And once again, I always go to, in the hustle and the bustle, when things get so crazy sometimes, once again, I look to this energy of my counsel for Francis that said, the idea here is not about winning and losing and getting and conquering and and getting caught up in the ego. Make me a channel of peace. Allow me to serve. Just this energy of simplicity and showing up in the power of love and compassion. Yeah, I'm going to affirm that once again, aspirationally, that's the path for me. That's what's being called. St. Francis, pray for me. Keep blessing me with this energy of simplicity, of compassion, and of service. And I know that energy is there with me always. Thank you. And you can do something similar to yourself. You can ask a question. You can ask for support. You can affirm a truth. Or you can just come up to one of your guides, wherever they're sitting or perching or swimming or mountaining or living, and say thank you. And take at least 2 pebbles. And we'll let this last as long as it needs to last.
So I affirm this for us. We are never alone. Wherever we go and each day and as we wake, as we sleep, and in all things, the very presence of the divine manifesting through so many beautiful possibilities and potentialities. The very presence of that divine energy in our council of spiritual friends, it shows up to really to have our back in all things, to give us guidance, to give us wisdom, to support us, to call forward the highest and best of our potentiality that aligns with the divine energy, the truth of our nature. The very Holy Spirit that lies in all of us, this council of beings, calls us forward to new levels of courage and new levels of creativity and new levels of compassion and new levels of connectivity. And we indeed are part of that council. We are here to support all of it. We recognize that council is here to support us. We are here to support it. We are here to support each other. We are part of this living body of Christ, this living entity, this living wholeness, this living manifestation, so that we all are part of this one, supportive, energetic, loving and compassion. Yeah, that's our truth. That's our truth, and so it is.